back. We back. So look, y'all, we got Diddy bail hearing going on right now. And I can't wait to see what information come out of this bail hearing. Because the United States government has been playing dirty since day one, like we always talk about. And I truly believe that Diddy will get a bail this time. Watch. Stamping it. I stamped it yesterday. Diddy will get a bail today. I would be surprised if Diddy don't get a bail today. I would be surprised. As long as the judge is playing fair. You know, if the judge playing fair, he not with the pleas, he ain't with the system. And I don't just mean the system, I mean the system trying to take Diddy down. If he ain't with the system trying to take Diddy down, Diddy gonna get a bail. I am watching the road. Then you got Whack 100 calling out, basically extorting Gunna. Whack 100 giving Gunna 24 hours to come clean as a rat, which is crazy because we already know Gunna a rat. But Whack 100 supposed to have some type of police interrogation video of Gunna cooperating. I ain't surprised, man. You know, certain things ain't supposed to be around certain people. You know, motherfuckers was involved in anything, any street activity. Gunna wasn't supposed to be around that, cause that ain't even what Gunna on for real. Hold up, y'all. Yeah, that ain't he ain't on that. What's up, Edward? What's up, gang? Hey, Gaming, I don't even think Diddy gonna be. I don't think Diddy, Gaming, you ain't been in here. Y'all been so much coming out about Diddy whole case and in a dirty tactics by the United States government. I don't even think Diddy case gonna make it to trial. For real, I think Diddy case gonna get thrown out just because of all the dirty tactics the United States government been doing. They leaked the Diddy versus Cassie. I said not versus Cassie. The Diddy and Cassie fight at the hotel. They leaked that. You got an investigation going on about that. They raided his cell and took pictures of privileged material that was marked Lloyd. That was marked well, I guess legal. Yeah, legal. They took pictures of that. Didn't tell the defense team. Judge just ruled that the prosecutors got to get rid of that. Anything they got from that raid, they got to get rid of. Which is, you know, damage is already done. The damage is already done, but that just shows you that the judge see what the prosecutors is doing. And they pose and Diddy defense team is trying to have an evidentiary hearing to figure out what exactly went on with that raid, because they think Diddy was targeted. I do too. The federal government saying no, he wasn't targeted. He was under investigation, and that was part of the investigation, but he wasn't targeted. I think that's a bunch of baloney. I think before Diddy, and Diddy defense team is accusing the feds of trying to slow up the case because they're giving them information late. They're giving them information late that they already had. They done got 6 discovery packets. So what Diddy defense team is saying is that the feds is trying to prolong the case because they don't got a case. Because Diddy didn't right to a speedy trial, which means he got to be in trial within 6 months. What's up, James? up? What's up? What's up? Nah, he ain't free yet. Hopefully, depending on how long this hearing take, I can be home by the time, you know, the hearing is over. No, but I think he will get a bail, though. I think they gotta give him a bail. Because they gave the Abercrombie and Fish dude a bail. Their case is too similar. They was in the same fucking jail. Like, how do you not give Diddy a bail? So, the state is, the United States government is saying they're not giving him a bail because Diddy been breaking rules and regulations since he been incarcerated. He been reaching out to witnesses, but the defense team said no, he hasn't. You know, they talked about some app and how he using other people's PAC numbers, but everybody use people's PAC numbers. You know, that's it's not illegal, but they know other people do that. So why y'all trying to punish Diddy for it? And they listening to all his phone calls, and every phone call in the jail was recorded. They haven't found any evidence that, even though he's using other people's PAC numbers, they haven't found any evidence that he done anything illegal. Yo, hey, Doug Fresh, why shouldn't Diddy get a bail? What did Diddy do? Like, yo, y'all, like, yo, people is crazy. Yo, Diddy hasn't done anything other than he just was on some freaky shit. Like, you cannot give him a bail because he on some freaky shit, y'all. And the difference between this bail hearing and previous bail hearings is now Diddy defense team has a discovery pack. And nowhere in the discovery does the United States government prove any evidence of sex trafficking. There's no evidence of sex trafficking. None. You try to say he sex trafficked Cassie. They was together for 10 years. Diddy is guilty of being a fucked up person, you know, probably a fucked up spouse, a fucked up businessman, but all that other shit, man, I don't know, man. I ain't really buying it. A lot of them lawsuits are frivolous. Them people ain't gonna get a dollar. I don't even think them lawsuits is designed for them people to get a dollar. Them lawsuits is to damage the jury pool. Them people ain't getting no money. Have y'all listened to some of them lawsuits? You feel me? Like, as people really listen. See, I know a lot of people don't like Diddy. I ain't even really no fan of Diddy for real. But right is right and wrong is wrong, man. You feel me? Like, I could take my personal opinion of Diddy away and just look at the situation and be like, yo, come on now. Y'all got the man, y'all holding the man on no bond for what? For what? What has he done? Because he got too much money? And it's a case law against that. It is a case law against holding a person hostage, basically. Because they got too much money, too many resources. That's already in law. You can't do that. And that's why when they do that to people, they put that package together where they under 24-hour surveillance and all of that other type stuff. That's standard protocol for people that got too much money and too much resources. That's protocol. That package together supposed to get you a bar. Watch, y'all go see. I bet he get a bar in a day. Especially with all the dirty tactics. The United States government is ruining. The United States government is ruining their own case. They ruining their own case. They can't be mad at nobody but themselves for how this case is going. They ruining their own case by going above and beyond above and beyond the rules. No, they didn't. No, they ain't hide video evidence. No, what they did was at the last bail hearing, they doctored. All right, so the video of Diddy fighting Cassie, they doctored it to make it look worse. Like they put certain parts in the video before other parts. Like yo, they've been playing dirty the whole time, man. Oh shit, for real? Yo, whack with the bullshit, man. Yo, whack with the bullshit. Yeah, they could be trying to make a point, James. I think the point is they trying to. I think yo, this case might not even be designed for Diddy to even go to jail. They just trying to show Diddy you don't play with you playing with the wrong people. You know, everybody not to be played with. You can't sue everybody. You know. It's fucked up that it's like that, but it's like, yo, you can't sue everybody, man. Sometimes you gotta play the game, and you ain't always gonna be on the winning end. You make it look worse than it is by editing it and adding different parts. And like you might start off with them kicking her. And then you put the smack when he hit her, you put that behind it. Then you put the drag behind. I don't know, y'all, but they doctored it. They doctored it for the judge. Yo, I ain't saying he didn't. We all seen it. I ain't saying he didn't. I'm just saying the way they edited the video. Like when they showed the judge, they should have released the whole video. Like we seen it instead of the edited version of the video. They did the same thing. They doing the same thing in Dirk case, where they showed a picture of Dirk, not Dirk, but the car supposed to be following Quando Rondo. That's an edited picture. That's an edited picture. You don't even see Quando Rondo vehicle in a real picture. Quando Rondo vehicle not even there, but they edited the picture to make it seem like that those cars was right behind the Escalade. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Luca. They don't have no more evidence. Like that's what I'm trying to explain to you. They don't have any more evidence. They don't have it. Get a life. Let me help you out. Since you can't focus, let me help you out, buddy. Let me help you out. So you ain't that God focus now. You know. You gotta focus though, boy. You go ahead and go about your day, baby. Hey, Doug Fresh. Yo, why have y'all see y'all this come from people following them bloggers that's just trying to sell y'all a dream. They trying to sell you a dream for likes. Yo, getting released. Miss y'all, what it is? Yeah, he was tripping. There's no tapes getting released, so you don't believe in the charges or the victims. They're accusing Diddy due to lack of evidence. No, this the thing. What's up, y'all? This the thing. Y'all. Did you do what you supposed to do? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, this the thing, right? That's confusing people. Right now, the media is confusing people between the freak offs and the tapes and the Diddy parties. Like those are all different things. The Diddy parties are Diddy parties. The freak offs is things that Diddy participated in with him and whoever girl or guy he was dealing with at the time. That's what the freak offs was. They're not the same. So all these lawsuits is from Diddy parties, you know, either Diddy parties, Diddy studio sessions, things of that nature. They don't have anything to do with the freak offs. But how the news is releasing the information, it's releasing information like they one and the same. So it's confusing people to make people think this is like Diddy on some old shit. And he probably is on some old wild shit. but it's not what the media is making it. You know, this indictment has nothing to do with the Diddy parties. This indictment is about, so it's still only one victim. It's still only one victim. And hold up, it's supposed to be 2 victims now. But this so-called alleged victim, Diddy pays this person bills. So how are they a victim? Diddy pays this person bills, man. This same victim is the person that released the statement saying that when the other daddy, when the girl, the Diddy Dirty Money girl, forgot her name, when she talked about some of the things that she endured, this same victim put out a statement, said, I don't know what she's talking about. I haven't seen anything around that. The defense is saying that they didn't even know the United States government was classifying this person a victim, and they haven't even talked to this person. But they put him in the paperwork as victim number 2. Like, y'all, it's a witch hunt, y'all. I know a lot of people don't like Diddy, and you know, a lot of people like to see this type of shit, yo, but we keep it real on Keep It G News, man. And the real is, the United States government is on bullshit. They on bullshit. This case that they're trying to force on Diddy is nonsense. Like I said, they haven't shown no evidence of sex trafficking. No evidence. And if you listen to them lawsuits, a lot of them lawsuits, y'all, sound like sex workers that was paid to do a job. Like, how you gonna pay somebody to do a job, then years later they talk about you did this and you did that? That's what you was paid to do. I know grain soda. He is, but what does that even mean? You think them people gonna get paid? Fuck no. Them people not getting paid. Tony Busby just got sued by one of his clients. You know, Tony Busby got sued, is getting sued by another prominent person's attorney because they're saying that Tony Busby trying to shake him down. Tony Busby is dirty. Like, he's not an honorable man. Gloria Allred not honorable. Yo, know who they are? They are people that gets called when it's time to run a play. You know, when it's time to run a play, when it's time to come down on somebody, you call Tony Busby, and you call Gloria Allred, and you call Benjamin Crump. That's who those guys are, man. They're not what you think they is. You logging in? Oh, all right. Yeah, that's not who they think they is. Where your phone at? Okay. Let me see. It's all the way there. I'm ready to see. I don't know if Diddy out yet. I'm ready to see though. But I think he will get a bail. I'd be surprised if he don't get a bail. I really would. And move this quote to the back. I think it's quote back. Hey, Doug Fresh, why shouldn't he get a bail? See, this the thing, y'all. Over here, we read all the paperwork. Like, this not a channel that paraphrases. Like, we don't paraphrase paperwork. We read all the paperwork. So for people that's over here every day, we got all the information. Like, not just the shit Law and Crime put out, not what DJ Academics do. Like, we read not what Tissa Tells do. Like, we read all the paperwork. So we got all the, you know, everything that came out. And how do listen, right? How do the United States government release not six pages, but they released discovery 6 times to the defense, and defense is saying that they haven't released nothing showing sex trafficking, nothing. And then a lot of these so-called witnesses they using, but y'all gonna see, they calling people victims that wasn't victims. Like I told you about victim number 2. They say, how are you saying this is victim number 2? Y'all haven't even talked to this person. Like, y'all ain't had a conversation with this person. Y'all don't know what this person fucking with us. So they try to say Diddy was tampering with witnesses. But the defense is saying, no, we wasn't. We reached out to people that we thought was going to be involved in the case. But we reached out to them before y'all reached out to them. Once we found out that y'all reached out to them, we backed off. We backed off. That's legal. You can do that. You know, they didn't break any rules with that. And then you got to think about the as far as Diddy and his bail, you got to think about the illegal things that they done. They stole information, took pictures of his legal documents, and then used the information they got from the search and seizure warrant. I mean, from the raids of the jail, and used it to keep Diddy detained. Like, yo, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. So right now, that creates a conflict, because it's like now our client isn't safe to prepare he isn't safe. He can't prepare adequate defense in here because of the dirty tactics. You know? How he gonna fight his case when they playing dirty? Like, these are all adequate reasons to give Diddy a bond. And the most important factor is, this is probably the most important factor. The most important factor is the Abercrombie and Fitch dude got a bond. What makes him less of a flight risk than Diddy? He got money too. Why is he here flight risk? And do y'all know what he did? Cause we read that lawsuit. That indictment was disgusting, man. That indictment was disgusting. Way worse than Diddy's. Way worse than Diddy's. In my opinion. Tricking men into thinking that they was ready to get signed, and man, that shit was disgusting, man. Diddy indictment ain't speak to none of that. Now, some of his lawsuits say things like that, but this guy got indicted, and he supposed to did this to multiple men. I think it was like 24 men. It's 24 victims in his case. Diddy only got one victim. What's up, Bob? Hey, Luca, why is Diddy a danger to society? Why is Diddy a danger to society? I think people just don't like Diddy, man. Like I said, I'm not no fan of Diddy either, man. But I'm not a fan more of the criminal justice system doing people dirty. No, he's not, yo. That's what the prosecution is saying. But they didn't prove none of that. They didn't prove that he's doing anything to witnesses. So Luke, you just going off allegations. You're not going off the truth. Ain't nowhere in his paperwork is alleged none of them things that you said. He hasn't been indicted for any of that. Look at H.O. Yeah, I knew he come. Yeah, he funny as shit. Yeah, though, y'all. No, they didn't, man. Who told you that? What page told you that, Luke? What YouTube page said that lie? That's a fucking lie, man. I got videos reading all the lawsuits. Matter of fact, I just got our lawsuits. I just got the lawsuits that was on Law and Crime Network yesterday. I just got them. I'm gonna read them later on. Cause that's another thing. We like reading the whole lawsuits. We don't want to just take what Law and Crime say as facts. Yeah, but let me tell you something. All right, look, right. Let me put you on with something you might not know. Yo, you can talk to a witness, as long as you don't threaten them or coerce them in any type of way. You can talk to a witness. I told y'all I caught a hit and run one time when I first came home. They was trying to give me a year in prison for a hit and run. Wild as a motherfucker. Yeah, he'll never make sense ever. They tried to give me a year for a hit and run. So after my initial court hearing, where they tried to offer me 30 days first, when I came out of the courtroom, I hired out one of the witnesses. There was only one witness. And the defense, not the defense, the state tried to use that against me.
The prosecutor says we still rely on that too. What'd you make of that?
I think it's important that they don't forfeit any of the arguments, and I think they're all equally important. I do think I'm glad that they've highlighted the danger issue. Again, so much of this comes back to that video of him and Cassie Ventura. He has assaulted her.
Let me say this too. And look, the reason let me tell you, I might not know. They leaked that video between Diddy and Cassie because that's the only evidence they got to detain Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? That is the only evidence they got to detain them. So whenever their case is in doubt, oh yeah, okay, shit, I might gotta try that. Whenever the case is in doubt, that's what they go back to. They go back to the Cassie video. That's why it was important for them to leak that information or that whole video, because that's all they got. Whenever they say Diddy is a flight risk, they go back to the Cassie video. Look, he beat up Cassie. Like, yo, you go like that. Come on now. How many years ago? At least give us a recent video of him beating up Cassie. God damn, like that video was 9 years ago.
Him and Cassie Ventura. He has assaulted her on that video. He later admitted to that. So that's something that prosecution can point to and say, look, there's a possibility that could happen to other people as well. It's right here in black and white on video. So I think that's one of the more strong arguments. But I think it's important that the prosecution doesn't forfeit any of the other arguments, including obstruction of justice, so that they can put on a fair trial.
Nima, that risk of flight is interesting because the prosecutors say he's facing 15 years life in prison on these charges. He has a lot of incentive to flee. His response would be, first of all, my family, my livelihood is here. I'm not going to flee the country. I've been trying to sell my plane. I gave up my passport. I could have fled multiple times.
What more?
I didn't.
What more can he do? He sold his plane, gave up his passport. Like, yo, what more can he do, yo, to show these people that he's not trying to run? He came to New York to turn his still. Diddy not trying to run. He ain't trying to run, man. He trying to fight. Diddy is trying to prove a point. His lawyer said it in the beginning. Diddy is trying to show the people that, yo, these feds ain't what you think they is. Especially not the feds of now. Like, the feds of now was not like the feds of old.
You think the risk of flight it works more for Sean Combs or the prosecutors?
I don't think it's a very strong argument for the prosecution. This is a style issue, right? Credibility is really important. And when the defense writes illegal on a pad after the fact, that's a problem.
Listen.
If you're the prosecution, you want to save face. And if this is someone who's surrendered passports, has been willing to sell his private jets, his family's here, I don't think the risk of flight is a very good argument compared to the obstruction and the danger arguments. So I would focus on those two. And obviously you don't want to concede anything, but really just focus on, because you only need one to win, right? And I think the danger is the strongest argument.
You mean you only need to convince the judge whether it's obstruction or risk of flight or danger? You don't need all three?
Generally, it's going to be danger or risk of flight, but the obstruction is important as well. So the standard is on the federal.
there's rules in place. So basically, yo, what they saying, what it looks like, is if you make too much money, you can't get a bail. Yo, that's not fair. You can't operate like that. You can't do that. You can't just hold somebody in jail because they got too much money. So there's case law in place that says that if a person has this amount of money, these are the necessary steps that you have to take to ensure the person go to court. And Diddy checked all those boxes. So why is it that they're not trying to let the man out? Right?
Right, but the obstruction is important as well. So the standard is under federal law that detention is appropriate if there's no condition or combination of conditions that can guarantee the defendant's appearance at trial, and he or she is either a risk of flight or a danger to the community. Now, obstruction can come in as well, but it's typically
read all the paperwork over here.
Elizabeth, we have another update from court talking about obstruction. The judge says, "Tell me about obstruction." Is he listening to Law and Crime? Is there like somebody? Does he have a microphone here or something? Tell me about obstruction. So he asks, he says, "Tell me about obstruction, prosecutor." Prosecutor Slavic says he's continuing violation of the rules, meaning, as we talked about, what's happening or allegedly happening in jail. The judge says, is running a PR campaign obstruction, meaning the social media posts? The prosecutor says that's not what we have here. Rather, it's his concerted.
Look, you see what I'm saying? The judge ain't buying that, because this is the thing, and this is what I said on live. How they gonna get mad at Diddy for running a PR campaign when they running a media slander campaign as well? So it's like, yo, what's good for the goose gotta be good for the gander. Y'all can't run a slander campaign with these lawsuits and expect the man not to defend himself. What they doing is they're trying to kill Diddy in public opinion. If you kill him in public opinion, you walk over him in court. And when he fights back, they trying to say that he playing dirty. Nah, fuck no, he fighting back. That's what he's supposed to do.
Effort to impact the integrity of these proceedings. Prosecutor says, I want to reach the jurors. I need only one. Oh, so that's so interesting. That's the first time that we actually maybe heard. They said they would have evidence to prove that this social media campaign was about influencing the jury.
Yeah, but they doing it
allegedly,
too.
There's some communication from Sean Combs where he talks about, I only need one, meaning only need to convince one juror.
They doing
the
it
judge
too.
says he's not permitted to engage in any he's not permitted to engage in any conduct to impact the jury pool. That's what the judge is asking. Prosecutor says his intent, it's obstructive conduct. He's violated the so-called gag order. He's the one who asked for that order.
Right. I think the social media argument is a bit of a tough one to make. Again, as we've noted, he's a massive public figure. People have continued to post on social media about this, people in his family and his friends. So I think that's a bit of a reach. But I think it's important that the prosecution highlights, again, any sort of evidence where he specifically states, I'm trying to target potential jurors here. He might have said that with social media, a little bit tougher. But I think the stronger points lie in if there's any sort of evidence that says he's trying to potentially contact witnesses through third parties to, what prosecution is claiming, alter their testimony, give sort of more favorable testimony. I think that's what's going to be more persuasive to the
By the way, that gag order, I thought that was about not releasing grand jury materials or information that hasn't been disclosed to the public. I mean, if you're posting about your birthday, you're posting your music videos, I don't feel that the gag order applies, no?
I don't think so either. Again, unless they're commenting on something specific regarding the alleged details.
They got upset. So for people that follow Diddy on Instagram, well, man, you probably ain't got to follow Diddy because this video was everywhere. They got upset because on Diddy's birthday, his kids put together like a birthday cake and sung happy birthday. That's what they talking about. How they gonna get mad at the man for doing that?
Of this case or the indictment or anything like that. I think general content posted on social media, I think it's expected even in cases involving more private figures, let alone someone this public.
Nima, do you agree about the gag?
Right. I agree. It's not within the limitations of the order. And again, this is just not a good argument for the prosecution. Look, I agree that him trying to influence
nothing is a good argument.
But just generally a blanket argument against a PR campaign and social media post, not good. No judge in this country is going to prohibit someone from posting on social media. Just so let's be honest, this is the biggest trial in the country right now, especially now that Donald Trump has won and his criminal problems have gone away. Nothing even compares to the Sean Diddy Combs trial. People are going to be talking about it. Everyone is covering it. Traditional social media. I've done dozens of interviews with law and crime about it. So for a judge to say that you can't post on social media about your birthday with your family, I mean, forget about it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
See?
No appellate court would uphold that order.
Told you.
Clearly, you do not believe that Kanye West.
What I just said the same thing. Shit don't make no sense. Like they grabbing, at this point, y'all, they grabbing straws. They throwing shit to a wall trying to see if it stick. Watch, I bet he get a bail.
Being sued for copyright infringement is the bigger case, and that's shocking. I didn't expect that from you. Okay, we have another update from court. This is from the prosecutor. The court entered the order on October 25th. He started his campaign on October 27th. He couldn't even comply for 2 days. The judge said, what about the, we have something. What about the Jeffries Abercrombie case where the government agreed to release on $10 million bond? And then the prosecutor says, we did a letter, and by the way, that's the letter that we
listen. Do y'all hear the judge? Do y'all hear the judge? The judge is questioning everything. Why did y'all release the Abercrombie dude? His case worse.
read before, where basically the government talked about distinguishing Mike Jeffries. It's not only his age, we're talking about the idea that he's not charged with sex trafficking. There was not these repeated patterns of violence like they allege with Sean Combs. And so, again, now it seems like they're getting into that issue, which I think is going to be really, really important. Again, just for our viewers turning in, Elizabeth, you see that the case of Mike Jeffries, who has been arrested and charged with sex trafficking of young men using force, fraud, and coercion, that is a slightly different case because he was granted $10 million bail. He was arrested after Sean Combs was arrested, but that is a different case that you think prosecutors might have a struggle with.
That's right. I think there's some overlap. Again, it's involving massive public figures, it's involving trafficking charges, but I think there's a big difference, in terms of the racketeering charges, the amount of civil lawsuits. Again, they're alleged civil lawsuits, but against Sean Combs, there's currently over 100 with similar charges. I haven't seen anything similar to that extent of Jeffries. And also, again, it keeps coming back to that video. There hasn't been any form of video evidence, at least that we've seen in the public domain. Correct. Yeah, with the Jeffries case that specifically highlights what a danger he could possibly be to the public. Again, at least that
what I tell y'all.
So we're going
to. But I tell y'all, that's why they released. That's why it was pivotal for them to leak that video. That's all they got to hold them on. That's all they got to hold them on is that video. Wait till it come out, right? Wait till it come out. Wait till it come out that the Homeland Security or the federal government leaked that video. Case dismissed. Case dismissed. Prosecutor misconduct. Watch. Just the thing, y'all. The government is doing what the government always do. They play dirty. But the problem is, this time is, they playing with somebody with a lot of money. So they little dirty tactics that they do on me and you and everybody else, they're getting caught. They're not getting away with it this time. That's the only difference. They've been playing dirty the whole time. The whole time. And they overstepping, they going above and beyond the law like they always do. That's why I don't run with this narrative. Oh, the federal government, 98% conviction rate. Why though? It ain't because they got motherfucking class A prosecutors. It's because the motherfuckers are dirty. They get away with shit that the state don't get away with. But the only reason they get away with it is because they don't get caught. But in this case, they're getting caught. They're getting caught. Well, we're gonna stream all the way until I get home, and then we're gonna go to the computer. Probably like by 3:30, I should be in the house. It's a dirty system, y'all. I don't respect it. I think it's predatory. I think they lie. I think they fabricate evidence. Like we're not dealing with a justice system that plays by the rules. Like how do you set rules and break them? But then get mad whenever people break them. Like how the fuck does that make sense to anybody? You set rules. You set the rules of the land. But whenever you feel like it, you can just break them. I need to go in there myself. Matter of fact, give me this back. Well, I'm going in. Shit. Come on, man. I don't want my phone to die, but come on. Baltimore swagger. Man, shit out west. Nah, I ain't even in the city right now. I ain't gonna be in the city till Thanksgiving. So what people saying, man? That so people think no. Y'all gonna see people gonna be shocked. Why? People gonna get shocked when he get a bail. Yo, there's really no grounds to hold him on. Like this flight risk and this danger to the community, that's bogus, man. That's a bogus argument.
These type of chips in the small bag.
They don't have them in the smaller bag.
Oh, shit.
The rest of them get some regular Doritos. Yeah, though, y'all don't really have no grounds to hold them on. Like they talking about the man, the danger to the community. Even all these crimes they talk about, and none of them say 2024. I mean, all these lawsuits, it's not a lawsuit or a crime for 2024. All of them are old. I'm lying down here having something to drink.
I haven't. Potentially losing Emily tonight is great for my game. I love the girl, but she terrifies me. I mean, just look at her. She is bad.
I'm weird. What's these is right here? What's these? I'm sorry. How much these is?
I don't know. I gotta scan it.
In the arm, the leg is. Yeah. Let me get a pack of regular black and mild. How you feeling today?
Pretty good. I have been way up.
Hey, but look, hey Stacy, this is the thing. His lawyer's accusing the prosecution of holding up the case because they don't got evidence. They don't think they're gonna be ready in May. Sean, grab that. They don't think they're gonna be ready in May. Not the defense team, but the prosecution team. The defense team ready. I think the defense team ready now. You hear me? If trial was tomorrow, the defense team is ready. That's how confident they is in the United States government not having a case. That's how confident they is. I gotta think, yo, Diddy got a dream team of lawyers, man. Like he ain't coming in there. He not coming in there playing. Like Diddy not coming in there playing. Well, let's see. Let's go back to Law and Crime Network. See what they got going on.
We know of yet. So we're going back to more questions that we have from our YouTubers. So if anybody has a question about the case or the hearing, make sure to submit it. Nima, we have a question.
Why are they asking them
This is
questions?
from Sean D. Cole. Sean
You
D.
be
Cole,
asking
so
me
active.
questions.
Thank you so much. Does the
Law and Crime
defense
Network
argument
lie.
for bail convince you that he should be granted bail, Nima?
Sean, absolutely not. Sean Diddy Combs should not be released. He is a danger to the community. The allegations are very
what
serious.
video? See, y'all, let me explain something to y'all. Because I think I'm on the YouTube page telling y'all this. Yo, there's not going to be any video of Diddy's sex capades. They don't want to release that. Like, they don't want to implicate anybody else in this. Because this is personal. This is personal between Diddy and the people that Diddy got a problem with. So nobody else is getting brought up. Like, I've been telling y'all from the beginning, there's not going to be no other names mentioned. And, like, none of that is happening, man. They already said that they only worrying about the video that includes Diddy. Any video that got anybody else in it won't even be introduced in court. They already said that.
Probably will be convicted and will spend decades in federal prison. This is a very serious case with a lot of victims. He should not be released.
No, they didn't, Luke. You know who told you
Here's
that?
the thing,
That's a
and by
goddamn
the
lie.
way, you'll see this
They never said
anytime
that.
you hear appellate arguments, or even if you hear general arguments in a court of law. The judge will ask pointed questions from each side when he's questioning them, okay? So I want to be clear, even though you're seeing tough questions for the prosecution, doesn't necessarily mean he's going to side with the defense and vice versa. Having said this, I'm going to read you the latest from court. The judge, the prosecutor, they're talking now about the 2016 video of Cassandra Ventura, or I believe that's what they're talking about. Because the prosecutor says, I think the better comparison is the two prior denials of bail here, but the judge said, what about the claim that the government spliced the video?
What I just say?
The prosecutor said he apologized. That's the point. Remember, Sean Combs apologized on Instagram 2 days after CNN published that video of him purportedly beating Cassandra Ventura back in 2016. The judge said, why did you use the Splice video, not the original? And the prosecutor said, it was public. So it makes me wonder, is he open to the...
They playing dirty. The judge see what they doing, man. Why'd you splice the video? Why'd you show me an edited version of the video? Because it was public. Nah, fuck no. Because you trying to mislead me. Watch. Y'all gonna see. Remember, Keep It G News been saying it the whole time. Y'all got the best Diddy coverage, y'all. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not. I know people might disagree, but I keep it all the way real with y'all. I ain't selling y'all dreams for views.
Argument that there's more context to that video, as the defense says.
Possibly. To me, it sounds like the judge is asking a bit more open-ended questions to get all the information that he can to properly render a decision about this bail hearing. I think if there's any sort of indication that that video of him and Cassandra Ventura in that hotel hallway was doctored in any way or edited, still have the actual footage of him assaulting her. And again, as you mentioned, he didn't...
See? There they go lying on Law and Crime Network. It ain't about that. It's not about that. Why should the judge have to look for the whole video where I got the United States government who has the video and they showing me an edited version? That's what it's about. It ain't about none of that dumbass shit Law and Crime Network just said. Them motherfuckers be lying. That's the more important argument. Why do I have to look for the video when you guys got the fucking video? But instead of giving me the real video, you show me some shit that you put together. I'd be shocked. Like, it's not guaranteed to get a bail. Let me say that. Because I mean, I'd be shocked if you don't. I would be shocked if you don't. For real. So let's get back to Law and Crime. See, that's why I like to react to Law and Crime Network videos, man. Because they be lying.
assaulting her. And again, as you mentioned, he didn't negate that. He didn't say, oh, this is AI or this is fake. He admitted to that. So I think what the defense team is trying to use is there's no indication that she tried to flee a freak off. I think one of the things his defense team called it was a sad glimpse in a consensual relationship, which I think is going to be their main theme in defending this case, is these were all consensual acts. So I think he's just trying to get information here. I think it's hard to negate the facts of that video.
So, Nima, I'll give you a chance to respond, but here's another update. The cell phone footage, this is from the prosecutor. The cell phone footage was grand jury material, and we didn't want the defendant to be able to retaliate against the grand jury witness. We did add blurring of the victim's face. In 2016, the defendant bribed hotel security $100,000 to make it go away. Your thoughts on what we're hearing about this?
Yeah, I'm shaking my head because this is not edited. This is why this is important. First of all, we know that Sean Combs paid 50 or 100,000. I've heard both numbers. Apparently $100,000 to try to keep this video. Now, in November, Cassie files her lawsuit. Combs, through his attorney, says that this is all, these are lies. This is all fabrication. This is a money grab. His homes are raided in March. Again, still denies everything. Only after CNN gets this video in May does Combs finally admit to lying for 6 months through his attorney. So he can't be trusted.
How does CNN get the video?
Someone who's denied everything, but you can't deny this video. That's why his apology is important.
How much does it matter, Elizabeth?
Oh, yeah,
that this
Max,
could be
I ain't hearing nothing about
connected
that. We
to
get
a
that-
freak-off
we
or
get that.
sex trafficking, or does it matter that it's just a violent episode? Because the latest update from court, the prosecutor
that's true,
says,
man.
does it matter if he threw a vase or the contents of a vase? He admitted to it and apologized for it. This took place in the middle of a freak-off. The U.S. has evidence a male commercial sex worker was in the hotel room at the time. So they're really trying to say this is evidence of sex trafficking.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's going to be important for the prosecution to say, you know, she wasn't just fleeing for any reason. It was specifically to flee a
Why
freak off.
why gotta be such? Why they couldn't have had an argument?
They were in the middle of a consensual act. Regardless, I think you
Why
also
they couldn't
have
have an
one of the
argument
things that was
during the
mentioned in
freak
the
off,
indictment was that
right?
multiple.
Why couldn't they have an argument during the freak off? Like, and then she just left. Like, why does it have to be evidence of sex trafficking? You know, why does it have to be he was forcing her to stay at the freak off? They could have had an argument about money during the freak off. Who the fuck knows? Like, that's not evidence of sex trafficking. She got to testify to that. And the sex worker is going to have, if the sex worker was there, the sex worker is going to have to agree to those series of events.
Upon women, this is clear evidence of that.
We have more questions from our YouTubers, the best YouTubers in the business. All right, Nima. This is a question from Sally on YouTube. Once Diddy finally goes to trial, how long do you think the full trial will last?
It's going to last about a month or so.
Okay.
And the parties have given some estimates.
No, not yet.
About 3 weeks, I believe, for the prosecution and 1 week for the defense, if I recall correctly. That means I think the defense's case is entirely or mostly going to be based on the
Yeah, give me a
cross-examination
retention fee.
of those witnesses. They're going to come after them very aggressively. Now, it's still pretty early to know who exactly the government's going to call, and that's important because you have individuals who have filed civil lawsuits. They're going to be cross-examined to say this isn't about criminal justice, this is about money. So I'm sure the government is going to want to put their very best witnesses and victims on the stand because we know that the defense is going to come after them and come after them very aggressively.
They don't have any witnesses.
All right, we have another update from court. This is from the prosecutor. This is devastating evidence for the trial. This is, again, the 2016 video. It shows why he cannot be released on bail. He is violent and is committed to covering up his crimes. The evidence against him continues to mount. We've learned.
What I tell y'all? Didn't I just tell y'all that? That's why they had to leak the video. The video is all they got to keep Diddy arrested. That's all they got, man. See, this is what I'm telling y'all. I said this 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago. Then you hear the prosecutor repeat it verbatim. Basically, without saying it.
Of punching and kicking employees, partners. So again, that danger element to the bail analysis. I do have a question, Nima, for you. This is from Sean D. Kolb, again on YouTube. Any chance for a plea deal, and is there any chance the judge will accept it? I'll give my thoughts, but first your thoughts.
I don't think there's much of a chance at all, because for there to be a deal, it has to be something that Diddy would accept. And,
Right.
and when you're talking about these types of crimes, I mean, the sentencing guidelines are through the roof. Now, maybe he'll get less than the decades in federal prison I said if and when he's convicted. But this is someone that doesn't want to be in bail for even the next several months until trial in May. He's not going to voluntarily, give up his empire and concede this. By the way, let's go back and say why I don't think there's going to be a deal. Let's talk about Cassie Ventura, who demanded $30 million reportedly not to file a lawsuit when the statute of limitations was coming up in New York State, where Jesse and Elizabeth are right now. He only wanted to pay her $10 million. For $20 million, his whole life fell apart. Do you think this is someone that's going to admit to anything, plead guilty in court?
I agree with you. It seems to me the only thing, what happens if they say, we have evidence to charge your family with obstruction or other counts? We will not do that if you decide to plead guilty.
Well, family can be an absolute game changer. I'm going to be honest. As a former federal prosecutor, I put more than 1,000 people in prison, and oftentimes, people would plead to exonerate their family members. So I think that could be a potential game changer. But just as the current indictment is and state of the case with no other co-conspirators, I think Diddy's not going to take any deal.
And to be clear, there's no evidence, other than some of the assertions that they're putting forward in these letters about, using his family to, engage in improper conduct or contact outside of jail, or some of the allegations that we're seeing in the lawsuits. Nothing to suggest that his sons committed any of these crimes, or alleged crimes, I should say. I want to go to you, Elizabeth. We have a question from Susie Payne on YouTube. Will Diddy take the stand, and when will we see the court case? Well, presumably we would see it May 2025. We're not going to actually see it because no cameras, but presumably that's when it would start. Will Diddy take the stand?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly his right to do that. I think that his defense team would be pretty worried about that, because then again, he's going to be subject to cross-examination, and I think these prosecutors will go extremely hard, show him all sorts of evidence, including the video and all sorts of probing questions. So yeah, I mean, this is a criminal case. This is not a civil lawsuit. So
he took the stand in the 1999 nightclub shooting case, worked for him there, but kind of a different case here. Okay, so we have an update from court. The judge asks Mr. Agnifilo, this is Sean Combs' lawyer, Mr. Agnifilo. Mr. Agnifilo responds, I'm going to have Ms. Shapiro lead us off. This is the other defense counsel. And she responds, he was not dragging her back to the freak-off. The judge says, there was dragging. Shapiro says, I don't mean to. Judge says, there was kicking. And then Shapiro says, he has apologized. Your thoughts about what the judge is getting to here?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Diddy had said when Cassandra Ventura filed her lawsuit, immediately, obviously, he denied it and said this was an extortion attempt. She was just trying to pull money out of me. Once the video surfaced, he was sort of backed into a corner, into apologizing. So I think what the prosecution's truly trying to get at is this is someone who will deny until he's backed into a corner. And I think what the judge is trying to pull is what are the potential reasons he admitted to it and apologized to it. Personally, I believe because he had no other choice.
Got a question from Alawani on YouTube. Will there be cameras for the trial at least? Nope. Nope. And nope. Very disappointing. No cameras in federal courthouses, let alone in New York. That's why a sense of what's happening in that courthouse, providing you live updates. Elizabeth Milner from
this Christmas, everyone on Medicare who haven't claimed their card loaded with $3,300 have only 12 hours left before.
What about the 2018 text messages with victim one about violence? And we believe that victim one is possibly Cassandra Ventura. Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, responds, we have gathered more information about victim one, even yesterday. I don't want to quote it because it's under seal and should be. It was consensual. Okay. So going back to what I mentioned before, Nima, what's today? 22nd. They filed this yesterday, the 21st. I, again, think that the defense's letter to the judge about this 20-minute video under seal. So what are they trying to say? That everything that happened between him and, if we presume victim one is Cassandra Ventura, was consensual, and therefore that could not be used by the prosecution as evidence that he is a danger to the public?
Jesse, victim one does appear to be Cassie Ventura, and I want to raise an important point that just happened
Yo,
there
this
in
the
court.
thing, y'all. With
Something
Cassie,
what
right?
defense lawyers do, they have to advocate for their clients, but I think it's shameful. You saw that.
Yo, well, that's what you got. Yo, relax. So look, this the thing, right? I think at some point, Cassie was okay with the free calls, or victim one was okay with the free calls. I think it got too frequent. I think it got too frequent, man. Then she started probably feeling uncomfortable. But I think early on, you know, when it was new, I don't think she minded, man. Like, how do you participate in something for so many years and never liked it? I just think Diddy started, you know. I just think it got too frequent. But let's see what Law and Crime Network say. You know, so stick around here. We on our way to the computer, y'all. God damn it. Oh, I'll eat it. Give it to me. Hey, shut your ass. I ain't talking to you, son. Right there. The car behind me.
I mean, what defense lawyers do, they have to advocate for their clients, but I think it's shameful. You saw that Agnifilo didn't defend Diddy when it came to violence against a woman, so they put a female defense lawyer to do that. So that's pretty common in these types of cases. That's why Shapiro started speaking. But we're talking about text messages from Cassie to Diddy. And again, going back to her lawsuit, and I believe her, she said that she was forced to have sex with male prostitutes while Diddy watched, videotaped, and masturbated. So I believe what she's saying, and there's text messages that corroborate her accounts of what happened. She has said to Diddy that I'm a human being, I'm someone's daughter, you beat me, you kicked me. That's all in text messages, and I don't think the defense can deny that.
Oh yeah, that was provided by the prosecution as examples of what was happening. And then also he allegedly threatened to, this is what the prosecution says, expose videos of the freak offs if she didn't do what he wanted. Now, hearing the response from the defense, I've got a question from Ashley Glass on YouTube. Will the Law and Crime Channel be covering the case when and if it happens next year?
I hope not.
We will do our best, given the circumstances of no cameras in that courtroom. So again, Elizabeth, this is a really interesting back and forth. Is there a possibility the judge will not make a decision today, or after hearing the arguments from both sides, in briefs and today, I mean, it seems probably more likely than not we are going to get a decision on Diddy's bail.
I'd be really surprised if there wasn't a decision. I believe the two prior judges were able to make their decisions pretty quickly. And again, this is a case where time is of the essence. I think both prosecution and defense are going to want to push for a decision quickly for their own reasons. So I'd be very surprised if there wasn't a decision. And federal judges are prone to act faster than state judges.
Nima, I'm going to you. Judge, update from court. Judge Subramanian asks, I don't want to quote from them, but you know the ones I mean. Again, it seems to be this information under seal. And Mark Agnifilo says, we are proposing an independent security firm. There has been mutually regrettable physical conduct going both ways. There was violence by this other person and by Mr. Combs allegedly. You're also getting a preview, I think, Nima, of some of the defense strategy when this goes to trial.
Pretty shameful victim shaming here to allege that Cassie Ventura was the instigator or violence when we saw just brutality there, right? Her being dragged by her feet, her being kicked, the face being thrown at her. Terrible stuff being said by the defense. But again, their job is to represent their clients, so that's what they're going to do. But to attack Cassie Ventura and say that she was the violent one or the instigator, pretty shameful in my opinion.
It's always a tricky kind of avenue, especially if you cross-examine Cassandra Ventura, how you paint your victim or alleged victim. It's tough in these sexual assault cases, but unfortunately, you have his life on the line. This is what you might have to do. Whether or not it would turn off a jury or judge, we'll have to see. Comment from Angela Maria. Jesse is devastated about no cameras. You're right. I am devastated. I have no shame in saying that whatsoever. Talk to me about...
popped up out of nowhere.
It's funny. Elizabeth, talk to me about the idea here. What would happen if they let him out on bail and get pre-trial release, and then he ends up doing, what the prosecution says he does? He reaches out to witnesses again. He reaches out to victims. I mean, I imagine his bail will be revoked, but does that put the judge in kind of a bad position?
That's why you gotta react to this shit. Like, why is their argument so one-sided? Like, what happens if he doesn't do that? Like, do y'all seriously think, after going through all of this, right? Diddy will go out there and put hands on or track Cassie down or victim one. Like, I ain't got him doing all of that. Not him. I mean, he probably can get it done. Yo, but I don't think Diddy believes the case is strong. Like, you do shit like that if you think they got a rock solid case. A case like this, all you gotta do is sit around and let this bitch unravel. You feel me? You ain't gotta do nothing out the ordinary. It's one of them times where, like, when you ain't, you know, in our situation, you just sit and wait it out. What the fuck is you all be back here for, bro? You know, you might gotta sit for like 8 months. Wait till the case unravel.
Why is it driving so slow?
I mean, I guess because traffic up there ain't moving, but goddamn. You might as well walk, push the car up the hill. Like, the fuck? Crazy. Yo, why is Diddy disgusting? Yo, like, Diddy haven't been accused. Like, y'all keep listening to them fucking lawsuits, man. Them lawsuits are not real. Nobody's getting paid. Like, now one of them lawsuits is going, then none of them people is getting any money. None of them. They all will be fought vigorously. And that's the thing. You see how everybody just come into the comments talking about how disgusting Diddy is? But then the United States government feels some type of way when Diddy try to fight back and try to make his image cleaner. They the ones tarnish the image with them lawsuits. Y'all don't think them lawsuits part of the play? Them lawsuits part of the play, man. Them lawsuits is moving in concert with this criminal investigation. It's all tied in like a knot. And they got nerve to get mad at him for trying to fight back. Like, get the fuck out of here, government. If they stop with them frivolous ass lawsuits, Diddy wouldn't have to do none of the other shit he doing. Wouldn't have to do none of that. Yo, that's hey Bob, that's the crazy thing about it, Bob. Man, Jane Dale was a sucker. Anybody that used to work for Diddy, right? And is now coming out against them or especially now. I ain't even saying before. Now since they got criminal charges, they want to speak up. I got zero respect for them. That's like the friend that you fall out with to start telling your business. Like, who respects those people? Like, you was friends with this person for 15 years. Now y'all fell out for whatever reason and you want to talk about him behind his back. Man, get the fuck out of here. Fuck on, champ. I don't respect Jane Dale. I don't respect Roger Bonds. I don't respect Jaguar Wright. I don't respect none of them motherfuckers. I think that's goofy. Because when they was around Diddy, they ain't had no complaints. When Diddy was feeding their pockets, he was putting food on their table, they ain't had no complaints. They was Team Diddy. Now they fall out for whatever reason. Now Diddy the worst person in the world. Man, fuck out of here, man. That's phony. Some people don't get no respect in real life. People just respect them on the internet. Yeah, people don't get no respect in real life. Those are the worst kind of people. Just gonna slander his name. Like, man, fuck out of here. Well, why you his money? Jane Dale. Why'd you let Diddy pay you for all these years if he was this horrible person? And y'all know I can't stand Roger Bonds. Like, his argument against Diddy is the worst. Like, your son went to Africa and killed somebody. He ain't killed somebody. He went to Africa, whipped somebody, and they killed a person because that person, ex-girlfriend, found a new boyfriend. and he was mad that Diddy didn't help him out. Like, what? Man, yo crazy. If my kids would do some shit like that, they better ask me for $1. If my kids was to go to Africa, look, if my kids was to meet somebody in jail, hopefully they'll never be in jail, but meet somebody in jail, and they let this person talk them into going to Africa with them to search for his ex-girlfriend that got a new man, and they do some dumbass shit like that and end up getting locked up because they killed the ex-boyfriend, they better not call me and ask me for a fucking $1. Because I'm gonna look at them like, yo, what the fuck was that? You supposed to know better than that. You really got somebody talking and doing some dumbass shit like that? Shit. You better talk him into paying your motherfucking lawyer too, because that was stupid as a motherfucker. But that's Roger Barnes' beef. Like, how's Roger, like, is you serious? And Diddy still gave him $25,000. He mad. He wanted Diddy to give him another $100. Man, Roger Barnes needs to sit his old bald head ass down somewhere. He should have been a better parent. The fuck, he should have put more fucking critical thinking skills into his child. Cause that was stupid as a bitch. He didn't know the guy. He met the guy in jail. Didn't even know him. The guy bails him out. So I guess that was the deal. Look, I bail you out of jail. You go to Africa with me. I would bail you out, right? And I'm gonna need you to go to Africa with me and look for my ex-girl. She got a new guy, and we gonna kill him. Get the fuck out of here. Yo, y'all better not ever let nobody tell you no shit like that. That's for real. Real, like, so his beef is like, because fuck the fact that I wouldn't own kids $1. I'm definitely asking another motherfucking person to do it. Shit, I'd have been pissed off. Like, man, let his ass sit. He gonna learn. They gonna learn a valuable lesson this time. Better never do no shit like that. So now his son got 30 years in Africa. His son got 30 years in Africa from the United States. Who goes to a whole nother country to kill somebody? Yeah, for real, Bob. That shit wild as a motherfucker. Like, for real, man. Yo, when I looked this, because, you know, I did a video on that, actually. I did a video on it. It's on my page. Took them 8 years to get in the court. That's the fuck you get. Like, they did that shit like 2014 or something. He just scored his time, like, a couple months ago. Yeah, I looked into it. Cause I wanted to know his beef. And once I found out what his beef was, I'm like, yo, what? You serious? You really wanted that man to help you with that? Yo, sometimes, yo, people gotta, you know, stand on their decision making. And like, his son wasn't no kid, he was a grown ass man. Like, the fuck would you allow somebody to talk you to going over Africa to kill somebody for? Africa? So what happened was, and y'all can see the video, it's on my page. What happened was, the whole plot was crazy. They gets over to Africa, right? They don't even know the guy. They don't got no clue who the guy is. So they go to Africa. They in the mall just asking anybody, like with a pic, like I don't even think they had a picture of him. They asking everybody they can see, or they saying, do you know this person? Do you know this person? So what happened was, word got back to him that people was looking for him. So he calls the guys, right? He calls the guys and decides to meet with them, which was stupid. But he decides to meet with them. But before he met with them, he told all his folks, I'm ready to go meet with such and such. Like, the whole, man, that shit was stupid. Stupid as a motherfucker. I'd have been so upset about fucking kids. I might not even answer their phone calls for a year. Like, I can't believe, I thought I raised y'all better than that. Like, I can't believe y'all let somebody talk you into doing something so stupid. Yeah, yo, that's what it was, yo. He was in Africa, bro. It was, yo, they were just asking random people, like, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Do you know this person? That would listen. So what happened was, after they killed the dude, yo, y'all gotta watch the video. The story is crazy. After they killed the dude, they thought they was gonna get back on a plane and go back to the States. Negative. Locked their dumb ass up. Right after that shit, they didn't get a chance to make it back home. They didn't get a chance to make it to the plane. And they've been over that bitch 8 since. That shit was in like 2016 or something. It was like 8 years ago. Oh, and it gets worse. So then, y'all gotta watch the video. So the co-defendant was trying to plead insanity. He tried to escape one time. Like, yo, it's a crazy story, yo. It's one of the craziest stories I ever covered. It's one of the craziest stories I ever covered. But what's even crazy is the father wanted Diddy to help him with that shit. That's the crazy part. Right? So I can see why his son did some dumb ass shit like that. His father was just as fucking stupid. I would be ashamed to even ask somebody to help me with that. Like, I'd be ashamed. Like, I can't believe my son did some stupid shit like that. I wouldn't even tell nobody. I probably wouldn't even tell them they're my kids. For real. Yo, man. Shit, I don't know. Cause, man, I would have thought I raised them better than that. You know? Decision making is everything, man. You don't make decisions. You don't make rational decisions. You don't move with emotions. You know what I mean? Things they're supposed to take through life. Like, you don't move with emotions, man. You use logic. You use common sense. Think things through. Don't make decisions out of frustration. Like, things like that. Those things that your kids should know, you know, coming up. And especially once you become an adult. He was like in his 20s when he did that dumb ass shit, like 25 or something. But yeah, we almost to the house now, yo. So we ready to get on the computer. And we ready to see what the fuck going on. Hit that like button, yo. Subscribe to the channel if y'all new, man. Alright. Yeah, though, for real though, man. Like, I'd have been highly disappointed, yo, if my kids did something like that. You know? What the hell? Why you put that in there? Yeah. I ain't gonna get that right now. Hopefully I don't slide out in the street. Alright, y'all, we ready to get to the computer. Ready to get to the computer. You said what? Hit that like button, yo. Subscribe to the channel if y'all want to donate to the platform, man. Cash App, keep it, no. Cash App Baltimore swag. I already say keep your G news. Hold on. We only giving real information, man. Oh, my lighter, yo. Alright, we ready to get rolling. Huh? No, go ahead. No, I thought something more. All right, y'all. That we back. Damn, computer ready to die. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know why people don't like my videos. I think we be giving the best information on YouTube. You go to some other motherfucking videos, they ain't learning nothing over that bitch. Motherfucker hit the like button 1,000,000 times. They fuck around break the like button. But we over here giving authentic, real information. People don't want to hit the like button. I don't know, y'all. It's a crazy dynamic, man. It's a crazy dynamic. Y'all make sure y'all check that video out, y'all, on Roger Bonds. You can be like, man, what the fuck, yo, crazy.
A lot of times in federal court, you don't get that fair shake. You know, when you have these allegations and you're representing someone who's high profile, a lot of times these judges have made up their minds. I mean, if we want to feel like every judge is fair, we want to feel that the judicial system is fair, but a lot of times that the judges have already made up their minds, and it's very difficult to get a bond on this case. And I think that his defense attorney is doing an excellent job in putting together this bail package and explaining it to the judge and coming up on, and often you find yourself doing this, coming up on the fly where the judge says, hey, that's not going to work. Florida's not going to work. I need something else. And it's like, yeah, I got an apartment on, the Upper East Side. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. We're going to put them in. That's not easy to do. And it is a hats off to his defense for coming up with those things on the fly and being able to modify their argument that way. And I honestly think when a judge starts asking questions like that, he's very strongly leaning towards granting a bond.
Well, it's good when you're multi-millionaire. You can just, where am I? Where's this case happening? Yeah, I got a property.
It's not the bail package, y'all. It's not the bail package. It's the legal practices that's been going on this whole case. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why law and crime need to get out the way. They only gonna give you the legal. I'm gonna tell you the truth. The judge right now is leaning toward the defense because the prosecution been playing dirty the whole fucking time. The whole time. And the judge see it. You can't, some of the things they doing, you can't explain this. You can't explain the doctorate video. You can't explain the raids where legal information ends up in a prosecution fucking hands without telling the defense. Some of these things are unexplainable. Can't explain that shit. And it's like, if you want this man to get a fair trial, you gotta release him because they're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop. It's obvious at this point. Diddy been locked up for how long? It's obvious at this point that they're not going to stop. Right, and the time of the raid was bogus.
Around the corner. Let me ask you this. So this was brought out by the prosecutors earlier on, where they said, "Okay, want to talk about the security team?" So they say, because the judge asked, "What are we talking about?"
Hold on, man.
They said, "What type of security team?" He's suggesting a co-conspirator, one whose phone was taken only the day before. The second suggestion, was a defense investigator in this case. That investigator has been out contacting witnesses. Essentially, they work for him. So the reason I bring that up is because the judge just said the government is saying Mr. Combs would be paying these people. It comes down to trust. Mark Agnifilo, again, Sean Combs' defense counsel, says it's a different relationship. There are professionals that are only going to be in his life for 8 months. It's a high-profile case.
It ain't no minors, dog. There's no minors involved.
66 days without a laptop. He only got one a few hours ago. What is unique here is to have waited 9 weeks to get a laptop into the MDC. The judge says the solution is for you to come to me. We can call these hearings, which get things done.
Don, we just speaking on facts, Don. It ain't no minors involved,
The
Don.
question, of course, Brian, is can you trust the security team? Prosecutors
Them
say,
lawsuits
A,
are
they
fake.
have the connections to him, but B, even if they did, he has a way to
Them lawsuits
compromise.
aren't real, y'all. Them lawsuits is just to taint the jury pool. None of them people is getting $1. Them lawsuits are just to taint the jury pool. They're not real. It's just fake. It's just some shit to put on TV so everybody can see it. So the goal is that the jury comes into the courtroom with guilty. Way before the trial starts. They already believe he's guilty. Just like a lot of people in the comments. Think about it, y'all. The comments section is the jury pool. We are the jury pool. So just think about when people cover Diddy, right? How many comments you see, Diddy guilty. He guilty. He did it. He did. You understand? That's what they're doing. And Diddy's trying to fight back against it. And they saying he playing dirty. No, he playing the game. Y'all made the rules. He playing.
People. If he's in prison, if he's in jail right now at the MDC and he's using inmates' pack numbers to make phone
come on, y'all. We're gonna do that legal.
That's the question.
We know
Can
that.
we trust the security team? What do you make of that?
As
my good colleague just pointed out, the way to go would be to make sure that you've explained to the court that you've got a team that is beyond reproach. And I'd be a little stunned if that's not the case. They should have former FBI, former New York police, somebody that when the judge hears their bona fides, he's going to say, you know what, this is somebody who's got some intellectual honesty. This is somebody who's not going to risk their reputation for a payday. And so I would expect that if the judge does release him, he's going to want to see that. He's not going to want just somebody on this guy's payroll to be overseeing him, during these 9 months. I can assure you. So I'm surprised if that's not the case.
Right.
And knowing Mark as I do, who's a preeminent lawyer, they'll make sure it is the case. If they've already provided a team, they'll get a better team. If that's an issue with the judge.
Let me ask you this, Brian.
Jesse.
Yeah, I'll ask you both this because this is a question that we got from one of our YouTubers, Floss Daily. Who pays
Right,
the
Rain.
security company? Is that a conflict?
You know they don't do that,
I'll
man.
one of you to address that. If Bradford, you want to address that?
Sure, yeah, because I was going to add in, it's an absolutely great question. And what I do is to kind of take out the stench of any kind of impropriety that you think could go on. I figure out, okay, if it's 24-hour security for 8 months, it's going to be $250,000, $350,000, whatever it's going to be.
No, it's both.
And I instruct my
They both get the
my
strike
client
drawers.
that we put that money in
So
my
what
trust
they
account,
do is they give jurors questions. They got questions they got to answer, and both sides strike the ones that they want or the ones that they don't want. And you come up with like 15 jurors, 12 jurors, and I think 3 alternates.
or a company is hired to pay them separately from just the defendant. So they're not relying on the defendant to get a paycheck. It kind of takes that sting out. I mean, there's always going to be a sting of, hey, I'll give you an extra $1,000 if you do X, Y, Z. You can never kind of get rid of that that kind of thing, but you can take out one of the links in the chain and say they're going to be getting their paycheck from either ADP or they're going to get the paycheck from my law firm, but they're not going to be relying on the defendant to get paid, and they can't be threatened like, hey, you're not getting
easily resolved with agreeing to the bail package. So it was just another thought.
And
yeah, Brian's
Bradford,
100%.
yeah, Bradford, jump in on that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 100% correct. So it first of all, there's been cases
not
in
yet.
New York. I've had cases in New York where we've recommended private security and got granted private security. And around the country, when you look at these high-profile cases, there's been many, many cases where private security. One of them is an NBA young boy who had a case in Louisiana. He had private security as part of his bail package in Utah. Kodak, who I represented, he had a private security as part of his bail package. It's happened many, many times. And I think the number one takeaway that Brian is so right on.
Okay, so he said fair case, you can't pick your jury.
Searching of his jail cell was so very stupid by the government.
All right, so the fair case, you don't pick the jury.
It's really sometimes, they can't help themselves. Even when they have cases that they feel are good, they want more.
Well, just to be fair, they said this sweep of the MDC was comprehensive. It wasn't just aimed at Sean Combs. His defense team says it was a pretext, but just to give you the other argument.
I have a very cheap bridge for sale.
We'll find out.
Listen, I think that this was.
Let's find out.
I think it was a
How are federal juries picked in criminal cases?
How do federal courts select juries for criminal cases? Random selection from voter registration. About 69% of voting-aged Americans registered to vote in 2022. Questionnaire to determine eligibility. Upon identification, prospective jurors must undergo a screening process. Voir dire examination. Next, legal counsel performs a voir dire examination. Plus more.
So they do the process. What is a voir dire? No, not that.
According to ScienceOfPeople.com, with the mysterious allure of semi-revealing questions and spontaneous or weird dares, truth or dare can show you a side of people you've...
Shut up. A preliminary investigation of a witness or a juror by a judge or counsel. In the United States, a voir dire, or however you pronounce it, is the process by which prospective jurors are questioned about their backgrounds and potential biasness before being chosen to sit on the jury. Yeah, it's the same process. Voir dire is a process by which attorneys select, or perhaps more appropriately, reject certain jurors to hear a case. Yeah, it's the same, but it's they added a little bit more. It's a little bit more complex than state court, but it's still that process too as well.
Contact me ASAP and other inmates' codes. Really, really interesting there about that. Basically suggesting that Sean Combs is engaging in obstruction. I wanted to ask you. We have a question from one of our viewers that I think is fascinating. And Brian, I'll throw it to you. Are there any additional bail conditions the judge could impose on Sean Combs? Could the judge place Sean Combs under the supervision of the Federal Probation Office?
I have never seen that being done.
Of course they can. But will they? Is it likely?
That the probation office could do would pale in comparison to what the defense has already submitted. You put somebody on a bracelet. I mean, they don't have the resources to have 24/7 guards in the U.S. Probation Department. More importantly, that's not their role. So, fair question. Why not have the feds protect him and police him while he's out? It's not the way the system works. And more importantly, I think to all of this is, there has to be an ability for somebody to defend themselves. And what the prosecuting team seems to be relying on here is his efforts to really defend himself. He is looking for help. He is looking to try to line up witnesses, to marshal a defense, to reach out to allies, to get friends and family to get on social media so he can start not winning the battle, but just try and making the landscape a little bit easier and more even. And so I don't know what this judge is going to do, but I would tell you constitutionally and legally, the easy thing to do would be to allow this bail package to be put in place. And the worst thing that could happen for the defendant would be if he spit in the face of the court once the court gave this to him.
Yeah. And by the way, that brings me to another point. So Bradford, we have an update from court. The question becomes what he was allegedly doing while at the MDC. We can have a back and forth about whether or not he was actually engaging in obstruction and what the contents of his messages were, versus was he just violating the Bureau of Prison rules. If they tell him not to make a phone call or they tell him not to do this, whatever the contents of it were, if he violates the rules, the idea is he violates the rules of the Bureau of Prison. What makes you think he won't violate the rules of his bail? The reason I say that is because the prosecutor said his family member said the lawyers say not to do it, and the defendant responds, "I don't care, it's my birthday." This is in regards presumably to that whole social media campaign about surrounding his birthday and the birthday video. So the idea would be he just didn't care. He violated the BOP rules. The judge said, Ms. Shapiro said sharing codes is common with other inmates, and the conduct was covered by the First Amendment. The prosecutor says, the Bureau of Prisons handbook prohibits this. So it becomes a question, the content of what he was doing, Bradford, versus did he just straight up break the rules?
See, this the
and
thing.
if he just straight up broke the rules,
This the thing with that argument.
Why he shouldn't.
A lot of people do that. So don't highlight this. Don't highlight Diddy doing that and make it seem like he can't be trusted when that's standard protocol in prison. A lot of people use other people's identification numbers. It happens. Is it legal? No. Are you supposed to do it? I mean, is it legal? Yeah. Are you supposed to do it? No. Can you get in trouble doing it? Yeah. But is it something that they hard pressed on? Not really.
Anything, it's all attorney-client privilege when they call us, unless it's a three-way call and there's someone else on the line, then it's not. And I always let my clients know that. But a lot of times they'll use other people's pins for different reasons. Like even when they call me from a different pin, it's because they feel like the government's still spying on a discussion between them and their lawyer. And they could be right. It's not like they're wrong. And a lot of times, or they want to call, they're married and they want to call their girlfriend. So
yeah, they ain't lying. They definitely go missing.
One of the other guy's PIN numbers. It's so commonly done that I don't even consider it a flagrant violation of the rules. I don't even know if they give shots, and what a shot is they give them some sort of a warning or some sort of pink slip for using basically someone else's. I don't even know if they do that anymore because they're more concerned with the drugs and the cell phones and things that are snuck into the jail. This is such a minor violation that the government here is saying is such a massive violation that unless they can really tie it up with that he's doing it to contact these witnesses and threatening witnesses, if the judge has...
We don't even need to hear these experts. Yeah, man, we don't need to hear their explanation, man. I got this, man. I'm gonna hold this down, man.
I'm sure this judge does. He's going to look at that as a very minor violation of the jail rules, and I don't think that shows that he's going to flagrantly. Yeah, that is how it is. Let out.
They make you make an hour.
Well, here's the question. This is a question from Jasmine Milan on YouTube. I'll throw it to you, Brian. Couldn't he just have his family members do all the things that he isn't allowed to do? That would be the question in terms of if he's out.
If he's out. Yeah, I mean, I think we end up chasing our tails with some of the issues here. I mean, if he's out, he's going to do everything he can to defend himself. If he's in, he's going to do everything he can to defend himself. If he's in, he's got to jump through all these hoops to have contact with the people that are going to do everything they can for him to defend himself. Remove the hoops. Bradford's got it right. I think I got 4 three-way calls during this session. For God's sake, it's happening. There were probably 20 of them from this detention center while this was happening. It happens every day, and it goes back to that central thing that I keep thinking. this judge seems like a really brilliant guy. The headaches here are all driven by the fact that they've taken away his liberty before his trial. Right. All those headaches, every single one of them, put aside for the sake of argument the government's concern about threat, every one of those headaches that inure to the defendant in terms of constitutional protections go away.
Yeah, rules are made to be broken, man. Don't nobody follow rules in America.
Go away. They become somebody else's problem, and know well that if there's one issue, somebody goes sideways a little bit, somebody makes a phone call somewhere,
right,
he's detained within 5 minutes of that incident. So the easy thing to do here, and I've been kind of, saying this for a month, is to let a guy have a $50 million bail package.
I'm going to give you another
question.
question.
Just think about that, though, y'all. They denying a $50 million, $50 million. The Abercrombie Fish guy got out with 10. Diddy is trying to give y'all $40 million more, and they denied it. Like, come on now.
You know what? You're right. We've been beating the same kind of drum a little bit. I have another question for you from one of our viewers. Before I get to that, let me just give everybody an update about what's happening in court. Prosecutor says defendant has used at least 8 inmates' codes. He's bought them. The judge says they say Contact Me ASAP operates through TrueLinks, the trust fund limited inmate computer system. The prosecutor says it's not permitted. In the Jeffries case, one is detained, and the judge said that's a foreign national. Okay, so making a little distinctions here. But I do have a different question for you, Brian, if I can find it, if I didn't lose it. This is from Latoya on YouTube. If he is convicted, Brian, and sentenced to prison, what happens with the civil lawsuits?
Well, I mean, the civil lawsuits may all at some point be indefensible. Once he's convicted, making sure all those civil lawsuits have some relationship to the charges here. To the extent they do, they become indefensible. There'll be a conviction. That conviction
now got a reason to hold
part and parcel of the evidence in the civil case. He'd have to be deposed. If he was deposed while his case is on appeal, he'd have to assert the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is an admission in a civil case. Those cases, if they are related to this event and he is convicted, become indefensible.
All right, we have another update.
That is not
Prosecutor
true,
says
man.
this is more similar to the cases where
He just
detention
lied.
was ordered.
Good goddamn well, that ain't
about
true.
R. Kelly, Keith Raniere, Larry Ray,
Yeah.
Bradford. If you're sitting,
Y'all heard that man just lie. He just fucking lied. Yo, him being found guilty has nothing to do with them civil fucking cases. Just if he get found guilty in criminal court, he can still fight the civil suits. Why the fuck would that lawyer sit up on here and lie like that? Why he do that? It's not true.
Courtroom, and you're representing Sean Combs, and the prosecution mentions these other people.
They must hit him in his microphone like, man, you telling too much truth, man. You got, we against Diddy over here.
The funny thing is, and it's not that funny, is that the different areas have different issues with bond and how bond packages are done. In the R. Kelly case, I don't think, number one is they came up with $50 million. They didn't have 24-hour security. They didn't have electronic monitor, taking away his cell phones, his computers, etc. They didn't have any of that. So if you want to compare apples to apples, I think, and my opinion, is that the best case scenario is that Abercrombie & Fitch CEO. I keep going back to it. It happened very soon in time. It was in an area that is right next to New York City, which is the Eastern District. He was allowed to surrender. He was given a $10 million bond. The guy still, nobody even knows. If I was in a room with the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, I wouldn't know him from anyone, right? If I'm in a room with Sean Combs, I'm going to recognize him right away. So it's a little bit of a different situation. The CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch can disappear to Morocco. No one's going to recognize the guy.
Have you seen his face? He's got a quite a distinguishable face, but that's a separate kind of issue. But anyway, yeah.
I have. But the common man does not know who the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch is. I would argue that Sean Combs is known pretty much worldwide, especially even at this point. And that, I think, lends itself to, really distinguishing him from the rest of these individuals. And we always say like, hey, money does this or money does that. And it's true, of someone without substance might not be getting a bond on this case. But that's the whole point of bond, is that it shows your commitment to appear in court, to not violate the rules, to do these certain things. So as you have more money, obviously the bond is higher in amount to make that more of a damaging thing. Like, someone worth $100 million, if I put up 50, that really hurts me, right? It's just like if someone was $100 and they put up 50. So the thing is like, that's the difference between Sean Combs and these other cases, is that his bond package is completely different than what was being offered in those other cases. And the fact, I can't get beyond the fact that he just stuck around. He didn't go anywhere. Not that he could have. I'm sure the feds had their eyes on him 24/7 before they filed charges. But he stuck around. He didn't go anywhere. He informed them of where he was flying, when he was flying, where he was going, when he was going, during that whole period of time. And then when he knows that he's going to be arrested, he flies to New York in preparation. And instead of allowing him to surrender, like they would allow anyone,
that was
there to surrender, instead of allowing him to surrender, which a judge would have looked upon that favorably and said, oh, he surrendered himself, they go to his hotel and they pick him up at 9:00 at night.
That was dirty.
It was a real, to me, spit in the face. And I think the reason they did that is because they knew that Sean Combs was trying to organize this PR thing and was trying to put on a good show in terms of, hey, listen, mea culpa, I didn't mean anything on this video, and I'm going to rehab, and all these things that are good for his case. They got, I think, frustrated that the perception was starting to sway a little bit. And then that Cassie tape came out and perception kind of went down the toilet, because once you see it on video, it's very difficult. Then you see all your friends kind of abandon you. So, it just frustrates me when you got a guy that is willing to do all these things and you still, don't want to agree to a bond.
So I know we've been keeping you guys for a while. We're going to take a break. Before we do, I want to get some final thoughts, but I want to give you some updates from court. And Brian, I'll start with you on this. The judge just said, I suggest both parties put in letters by Monday at noon about what type of communications Mr. Combs may engage in. Monday at noon. So that's interesting to think about. What is he mean? He's going to be out or he's not going to be out? But his lawyer, Combs' lawyer, Tony Rico, said, we have to email for a week to get him a file folder. Then he said his adult children are willing to obey. He's not a lawless person. We spent hours at the MDC. Mr. Combs was writing down what I said. He's not out of control. DOJ is responsible for the MDC. Those phone calls from me all the time, and I hang up. Just your thoughts on what we're hearing here.
I go back to it. I think this judge is really giving serious consideration to allowing him out and trying to figure out a way to do so where the government's concerns are alleviated, to stop communications, to prevent the wrong kind of communications. A lot of the listeners that have asked questions are seeing, justice play out here, and what a difference a judge makes. There are a lot of judges I just listened to Bradford's arguments, all brilliant, that would listen to it and say, thank you very much, have a seat, denied. This is one of those judges that listens. This is one of those judges that balances. And what a difference a judge makes. And he could very well, if not today, Monday, make a decision that's favorable to Mr. Combs.
So, speaking of which, we have another update. Mr. Rico, again, his attorney says he has access to cell phones in the MDC, but not under our conditions. He fights, he kicks, he makes phone calls. This can be addressed. Thank you. Judge says we're going to get a decision out prompt next week. Bradford.
Yeah, I think that's the smart thing to do. Listen, smart judges don't just make decisions off cuff, right? They go back to their chambers. They think about it. They have very, very smart clerks that know the law, that give them case law to back up their reasoning. And, judges sometimes have gut feelings when they've been on the bench for a long time, and lawyers too. We've been doing this for a long time, and you have a gut feeling what's right and wrong, and then you got to find the case that tells you that you're right. So I think that it's smart. I think that smart judges put out smart orders because they know they may be appealed or they know it's going to be publicly read. And that's just what they do. So I'm not shocked that he didn't make a ruling from the bench. Just as Brian said very early on, he wouldn't be surprised either that the judge is going to take some time and do a written order, because that's what good judges do. Good judges do written orders. They don't shoot from the hip, and they don't automatically say one thing or the other. They think about it. They sleep on it. And I don't know how many times I've been
to do so where the government's concerns are alleviated, to stop communications, to prevent the wrong kind of communications. A lot of the listeners that have asked questions are seeing, justice play
Is he
out
gonna
here,
rule?
and what a difference a judge makes. There are a lot of judges I just listened to Bradford's arguments, all brilliant, that would listen to it and say, thank you very much, have a seat, denied. This is one of those
that's
judges
a good point.
that listens. This is one of those judges that balances.
Carry on.
And what a difference a judge makes. And he could very well, if not today, Monday, make a decision that's favorable to Mr. Combs.
He ruling next week.
So, speaking of which, we have another update.
30 bits.
Mr. RICO, again, his attorney says he has access to cell phones in the MDC, but not under our conditions. He fights, he kicks, he makes phone calls.
God damn
This
it.
can be addressed. Thank you. Judge says we're going to get a decision out prompt next week. Bradford.
They dirty, y'all.
Yeah, I think that's the smart thing to do. Listen, smart
No, it
judges
ain't.
don't just make decisions off cuff, right? They go back to their chambers. They think about it. They have
That bullshit.
very, very smart clerks that know the law, that give them case law to back up their reasoning. And judges sometimes have gut feelings when they've been on the bench for a long time.
That's
And
bogus,
lawyers,
man. I
too,
know Diddy
we've
mad
been
as
doing
a-
this for a
yo.
long time.
I ain't
and you have
gonna
a
lie,
gut
y'all.
feeling what's right and wrong.
That should make you mad as a motherfucker. When you in court, yo, you gotta get up early as shit in the morning, 4 in the morning, travel all shackled up to court, just to get there and for the judge to tell you I'm gonna rule next week. Oh my God, that is a heartbreaker. Diddy might cry tonight, y'all.
And then you got to find the case that tells you that you're right. So I think that it's smart. I think that smart judges put out smart orders
bullshit.
because they know they may be appealed or they know it's going to be publicly read. And that's just what they do. So I'm not shocked that he didn't make a ruling from the bench. Just as Brian said very early on, he wouldn't be surprised either that
he'd
the
be home
judge
for
is going to
Christmas.
take some time and do a written order, because that's what good judges do. Good judges do written orders. They don't shoot from the hip, and they don't automatically say one thing or the other. They think about it. They sleep on it.
They're gonna make him miss
And I
Thanksgiving.
don't know how many times I've been in a case where I'm feeling like, oh man, this judge I feel like they're ruling against me. And they say, hey, listen, I'm going to get a written order out, by the end of the week. And then they go back, they read the case law again. They find new case law. They find, all kinds of different things. And then they rule in my favor maybe for a completely different reason than was even discussed at that hearing. But that's what really differentiates great judges from just guys that are, that have been on the bench for maybe 30 or 40 years, and they're kind of going through the motions, and they know what to deny and what to grant and why to deny it. And they just kind of, they're on autopilot. Like I said, when you get a judge that is fairly new, it's usually very refreshing, their take on
You got a new judge?
issues.
I agree. This is a judge that's very refreshing. I think he's really carefully considering both arguments.
Yeah, let me tell y'all something, right? Let me tell y'all something I noticed in my case. Yo, sometimes they give these fucked up cases to new judges because the experienced judges don't want to touch them. Let me say it again. If this judge don't got a lot of experience on the bench, that says that this case is not strong. So the judges that's experienced, they don't want to touch it. So they're going to give it to the rookie. I know that from my case. I'm telling you, I seen them do it. When I was going through what I was going through, y'all, it seemed like every 2-3 months my case was switching judges. They put my case in the hands of a rookie judge. So if it ever come back, it's going to come back on his ass. It's a dirty game like that.
now the latest update is that he wants those letters Monday. We'll make a decision next week. This could possibly be Sean Combs' last weekend behind bars. We will see. But the court has been adjourned. Gentlemen, let me tell you, Brian McMonagle, Bradford Cohen, thank you so much for your brilliant insight, your analysis, your generosity.
Yeah, so that's fucked up. So I guess we'll hear something from Diddy next week. But yeah, earlier I also talked about Whack 100 in this video. So Whack 100, y'all. And then we're gonna go back to Diddy. Cause I got some paperwork to read. But let's take a break to Whack 100 while I eat this chicken that I got. But Whack 100 is saying that he got paperwork on. Look at my nephew, man. Look good. Look just like his father, boy. God damn. Jesus Christ. That boy look just like his father. Yeah, did y'all hear Kendrick Lamar new diss of Lil Wayne? I used to bump the car to 3. I held my rollie chain proud, irony. I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Why Kendrick dissing Wayne, y'all? All right, let me show y'all Whack 100.
I was hoping to have this done prior to.
Got fucking food on this
thing. Working on it, but it fell the way it fell. Hey, Gunna, listen. I'm putting it together. I'm going to give you some time. I don't know, 24 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour. I don't know. I'm going to give you some time, though, Gunna, for you to go ahead on and confess. Confess to the world about all the telling you did. All right? Screw the little clip we all saw. We ain't talking about that. Gunna. The exposers. Hard at work. Gunna. Confess. I'm telling you. It'll be better for you if you confess. If you confess, then I might just like. But Gunna, you know that interrogation? Yeah. Guess who got it? 2 hours? Boy, you was in it. Nigga, you was sitting there talking more than Hurricane Katrina. Gunna.
That was a big ass reference.
Go tell the people. Matter of fact, you got to do it on my channel. You got to do it on my YouTube channel, The Hunter Show, because either you can confess or they going to hear it anyway. Yeah. You know, like Big you said, the only thing he did wrong was let him record him. And we're going to see how many of you guys stand by this. Gunna, confess. Paying attention. You know what I'm talking about. 2 hours. Interrogation room. I got it. Do the right thing. Oh, it's gonna drop. Sweetie!
Why they eat this sweetie shit? Yo, let's see if Gunna oblige, yo. That was hours ago. I seen that first thing this morning. So let's see if Gunna. Only gave him 2 hours. Time been ran out. Paperwork should have been a drop by now. See if Gunna Gunna said he's leaving the country. He's not obliging by anything. He got his passport and he's leaving the country. What the fuck do yo got on? Yo, these niggas crazy. Oh, he haven't even posted since that. Yo, but I got some new paperwork, y'all. I got some new paperwork on Diddy. Might as well do it now. Or we could wait till later. Because I really had a video I was working on for real. We can read one of them. Let's see what we got. Has 2 hours for his interrogation room. Alright, you got Diddy, Halloween, 39-year-old male actor, 21, Mike Jeffries, and Diddy, PDF. So I guess this is the bail hearing. Might as well read this. Just looking at this. He said, man, Yak got it. He said Gunna. He ain't say Yak got it. He said Gunna, bro. Why would he say Yak got it? Gunna, Yak got it. Look.
I was hoping to have this done prior to. Been working on it, but it fell the way it fell. Hey, Gunna.
Who said Gunna, bro?
Hey, Gunna, listen.
Said Gunna several times.
I'm putting it together. I'm going to give you some time. I don't know, 24 hours, 12 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour. I don't know. I'm going to give you some.
They said Gunna, bro. All right. So this the hearing that just happened. Return indictment against. Oh yeah. All right. So they included the other dude, that becoming Fish dude, in the documents. It said the government respectfully submits this letter in advance of a hearing scheduled for the hearing they just had, in connection with defendant's renewed motion for bail and in response to the court's inquiry about the relevance of bail package ordered with the government consent as to defendant Michael Jeffries. For the reasons stated below, the circumstances in Jeffries are inappropriate and provide no support for the defendant's bail application in this matter. Oh, so this is the defense sending this. Prosecution. On October 17, 2024, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of New York returned an indictment charging 3 defendants, including Michael Jeffries, with 1 count of sex trafficking in violation of U.S. Code 18 and 15 counts of interstate prostitution in violation of the same code. As alleged, from approximately 2008 to 2015, Jeffries and his co-defendants operated an international sex trafficking and prostitution business. Jeffries allegedly paid for dozens of men to travel within the United States and internationally to meet Jeffries and his co-defendants to engage in commercial sex acts. In addition, Jeffries and his co-defendants relied on a security company to surveil and intimidate witnesses who threatened to expose their misconduct. Following his arrest, the government consented to Jeffries' release on strict bail conditions, including a secured $10 million bond and home detention with electronic monitoring. The defense argues in its renewed bail motion that Combs is similarly suited to Jeffries and should similarly be released. But beyond superficial similarities, the high-profile position of the defendants in sex trafficking charges, the cases are materially different. As to multiple factors the court must consider under the Bail Reform Act. First, the nature and circumstances of those offenses are substantially different. How? While the Jeffries case, which spanned from 2008 to 2015, alleges the use of force, fraud, and coercion to engage men in non-consensual sex, there are no allegations that Jeffries committed non-trafficking related violent acts or that he used firearms during the charge period. Come on now. Diddy ain't charged. He do got firearm charge. I forgot. The indictment against Combs alleged both. With respect to the charged offenses, Jeffries does not include a racketeering offense. By contrast, Combs is charged with leading a racketeering enterprise that is engaged in a persistent pattern of racketeering activity from 2008 through 2014 that included repeated acts of violence by Combs and his co-conspirators. Yo, but that was by choice. They could have charged him with a RICO too. They could have charged him with a RICO too. Including multiple acts involving kidnapping, arson, and forced labor. Further, as detailed in the indictment, Combs protected and promoted his role in the enterprise through violence, use of firearms, threats, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. As recently as March 2024, firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s, with the face serial numbers, were recovered from Combs' residence. Second, the defendant criminal conduct included acts of obstruction. He persisted through the present, has persisted through the present, while Jeffries allegedly also engaged in efforts to conceal criminal activity, including through the use of surveillance and threats of litigation to ensure victim silence. That alleged conduct ended in 2015. Wow. Here, however, the conduct charged against Combs extends through 2024. And even since being charged, Combs has continued his obstructive conduct, including by repeatedly flouting the orders of this court and the rules and regulations of the BOP. For all the reasons cited in the government's opposition, it strains credulity to believe that Combs will stop engaging in criminal conduct and abide by conditions of release. Third, the history and characteristics of two defendants are significantly different. Jeffries is 80 years old with no criminal history. Combs is decades younger. Further, he has been arrested and investigated multiple times for crimes of violence and obstruction, and as described above, has repeatedly violated BOP regulations and the very same gag order he demanded that his court enter. In sum, Jeffries is materially different from the instant matter for the reasons stated above, and in the government's motion, the defendant's renewed motion for bail should be denied. Yo, well, the judge disagreed. The judge disagreed with this. Fuck. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna read one of these lawsuits that Tony Busby wrote, and then we're gonna say the rest of them for the night, cause I got a video I'm working on. We're gonna say the rest of them for the night. I gotta get this video out. Now I told y'all we don't do excerpts, so we read everything. All right. This case seeks compensatory and punitive damages for a violent sexual act in R. The incident occurred at an after-party hosted by defendant Sean Combs in Miami, Florida. As in many other instances, Combs used his systematic methods of drugging his victims unconscious before he sexually assaulted and penetrated the dude. After the assault, per Combs' systematic behavior, plaintiff was left unconscious, naked, and afraid. The conduct described herein is shockingly typical of how defendant Combs conducted himself for many years. Many individuals and entities felicitated and conspired with this abhorrent conduct. Sean Combs believed he was above the law. He is not. All right. For decades, Sean Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, and all other names, abused, molested, assaulted, threatened, and coerced men, women, minors, and others for sexual gratification to assert dominance and to conceal his abhorrent conduct. He accomplished these acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on his success as a rapper, record producer, record executive. Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists in the world. Behind the facet of being a 3-time Grammy Award winner, discovering and developing multiple famous musical artists, and ranking on the Forbes list of the highest paid entertainers in the world, there existed something sinister. a dark underbelly of crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and prostitution. Combs is a menace to society, women, and children. While his wealth has kept him above consequence for years, Combs now faces the awesome power of the American judicial system, and ultimately a jury of his peers who will be asked to punish him for the deplorable conduct described herein. I gotta read that. On the surface, each of these businesses served as a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. But in reality, Combs, by and through himself and his agents, employees, and contractors, used these businesses to sexual assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo schemes, as well as to take advantage of individuals with empathy, thinking the victims would never seek recourse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors through these Combs businesses would tell victims, this is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star? And perform this sexual acts or else to coerce the victim into performing a non-sexual act for the gratification of Combs and his cohorts. Hey yo, this is the thing, right? And this is why I always this is my problem with this. Yo, everybody can't be quid pro quo. Like you have to allow that to happen. You understand? Now, I don't respect people that move this way. Far as if they got some type of seniority or got some type of, notoriety and they use that and leverage that on another person to enhance their career, I don't respect it. I think it's flawed. But it does happen. But it can only happen to people that allow it. Because you can say, man, fuck that opportunity, fuck that job. I don't want it. I don't want it that bad. So what I always say in this situation is, as long as you got people that's hell-bent on greed, you're going to have people in high places that's willing to use that against them. So who's worse? Who's at fault? If people weren't so hell-bent on greed, you wouldn't have quid pro quo. So let's continue. Members and associates of Combs businesses engaged in and or attempted to engage in, among other things, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. All right, let's get to the claims. Yeah. All his lawsuits start off like this. That's why we already read all this before. Yeah, we read all this before. That's just talk. That's just going through some of Diddy history. Things that he been accused of. Lawsuits that he paid. Public filing. God damn. Where the fuck is the lawsuit? Where's their alleging? Alright, here we go. In 2022, plaintiff mingled and spent time with associates of Combs businesses at a popular Miami nightclub. He did not consume alcohol at the nightclub. After spending some time with these individuals, an associate of Combs invited plaintiff to an after-hours event being hosted by Combs at a residential home. Combs business associates escorted plaintiff to a black SUV, which drove plaintiff and another female to the party. After arriving, plaintiff entered the residence and joined the other partygoers. Plaintiff saw about 45 to 50 people, many of whom were recognizable public figures. While mingling and making small talk with others, an associate of Combs approached plaintiff, indicating that Combs wanted to meet with him. The associate took plaintiff upstairs, where Combs greeted him with a drink and offered a tour of the house. Plaintiff obliged and began following Combs around the home. The tour came to an end in a bedroom. How convenient. The bedroom smelled strongly of marijuana. 5 other individuals, 3 men and 2 women, apart from Combs and plaintiff, were inside of the room as well. Yo, see, this the thing though, y'all. This person, more than likely, saying he was drugged. How do you remember all of this? You was drugged, but you remember going into a bedroom that smelled like marijuana, and there was exactly 5 individuals there, 3 men and 2 women, apart from Combs, so it was 6 people. As plaintiff and Combs entered the room, Combs demanded the women perform sexual dances and acts on the other 3 men. Just the other 3 men, you wasn't included. Okay. Around this time, plaintiff suddenly felt weak and disoriented, unlike anything he had experienced with alcohol before. As plaintiff's condition worsened, he began to fall in and out of consciousness. Plaintiff knew he had been drugged. Based on information and belief, Combs, by himself and through his agents, employees, previously laced the drinks with drugs, including but not limited to GHB or ecstasy. This behavior toward plaintiff mimics a pattern of Combs and his agents' employees drugging unsuspecting victims in order to make it easier for Combs to sexually assault that person. Unfortunately, plaintiff was one such victim. A photograph of an exemplary container used by Combs and his agents' employees to insert GHB into alcohol drinks is seen below. So this is not a raid. This is just a picture. This ain't got nothing to do with Diddy. Just a picture. Plaintiff soon lost consciousness entirely. At some point later, he woke to a sharp pain in his rectum and anus. The fuck? As he regained some awareness, he noticed his clothes were missing. Yet he had no memory of removing them or where they were. Like, yo, I can't believe people believe this shit. He don't remember his clothes was missing. He was unconscious, but he remembered everything that happened before and samely everything that happened afterwards. Okay. Right. He remembered everything else though. Okay. As he regained some awareness, he noticed his clothes were missing. Yet he had no memory of removing them or where they were. As he returned to check the pain coming from his butt, he saw Combs naked, fully trying to insert. All right, we ain't gonna read all that. Plaintiff heard Combs talk dirty to him and others in the bedroom, and plaintiff recalls Combs telling him, "This is what you want," all while wearing a disturbing smile. The drugs prevented plaintiff from fighting back or otherwise resisting Combs' assault. Plaintiff eventually slipped back into unconsciousness. Okay, so he woke up for a minute, remember that, and went right back out. Plaintiff woke up the next morning in the same bedroom alone, almost immediately, as if someone could see inside of the room through a camera or other devices. A member of Combs' security team entered, handed plaintiff his clothes, and instructed him to get dressed and prepare to leave the residence. Combs' associates and security team escorted plaintiff out of the residence. They drove him back to Miami nightclub and dropped him off. So these people did all this to him, and he jumped in the car and got dropped back off to the Miami nightclub. This must have happened relatively fast. Since that night, plaintiff has suffered significant physical and mental harm, including anxiety disorder and a fear of group gatherings. He did not previously speak out about his encounter due to fear of retaliation from Combs or his associates. Man, this how all them lawsuits, yo, for real. This how all them lawsuits sound, y'all. But the crazy thing about it is, like, these platforms don't read the whole lawsuit. So people just run with it. Like, he did this, he did that, he did this. It's like, man, if he was to read some of them lawsuits, like, if you really was to read some of them lawsuits, you would not be saying that. Like, them lawsuits are fugazi. Fugazi. Fictitious. They sound crazy, man. Sounds crazy. So he got drugged, and he just remember everything else except for the assault. He don't remember the assault, but he remember everything else. And we got 3 more lawsuits we're gonna read tonight. But I appreciate what's up, y'all. Yeah, he do. He definitely got it because he been doing this for years. He their go-to guy. Whenever they need to run a play, you hit Tony Busby. You're right, and he was drugged for 2 days. Whenever you got to play, you hit Tony Busby, man. He's the guy. William Alred is the guy for the women. Tony Busby is the guy for the guys, man. He with the shit. But yo, we go live every day 11 p.m. Look for a video dropping. Hopefully I can get it done before 10. But I'm working on it now. I'm trying to get it done. I appreciate everybody that support the platform. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's another day of Keep It G News, and I'm out.